this chapter, we studied that all living organisms are made up of cells. Now we are going to understand that what is tissue or what does tissue does, or when the cells they form group, what happens is what is formed. Okay, so all these things we are going to learn in this interesting topic, that is chapter number 6 in biology, named as tissues. So let's start. Now we know that the living organisms, they are divided into two types. They are made up of cells, and on the basis of the cell, the living organisms are divided into two types. The first one is the unicellular, that is the organisms which are made up of single cell. Uni means single, cellular means cell, and the second is multicellular, that is they are made up of more than one cell. Okay, so unicellular organisms, for example amoeba, a single cell will carry out all movement, that is either it can be intake of food, it can be gas exchange, respiratory gases can exchange, respiration can happen, or excretion. Everything will happen with the help of this single cell in amoeba. Whereas in multicellular organisms, they are made up of many cells. So there we can say there is a division of labor which is carried out. All functions are performed by different cells. There are specialized cells to carry out few functions. Each specialized function is taken up by a different group of cells. Since these cells they carry out only a particular function, they do it very efficiently. For example, if you just have to study only one subject, you can do well in that one subject. Okay, that doesn't mean you will not study the other subjects, but when one task is given at a time, we can complete that perfectly. In human beings, for example, similarly, we have muscle cells, they contract and relax to cause movement. Nerve cells, they carry messages. Blood flows to transport oxygen, food, hormones, and waste material, and so on. So, similarly, in plants, there are vascular tissues which conduct food and water from one part of the plant to another. So, we can see that the multicellular organisms, they have different functions which are performed by different kinds of cell. So, this is what is known as division of labor. That is, cells specializing in one function, they are often grouped together in the body. This means that a particular function is carried out by a cluster of cells at a definite place in the body. So only there are few specific cells which will carry out those function. Hence division of labor helps in carrying out a particular function very properly or efficiently. Now just now we studied that multicellular organisms, they have cell. The cell is the basic unit of life. We know that cells they divide to form group of cells which are called as tissues. This cluster of cells called as tissue is arranged and designed so as to give the highest possible efficiency of function. Okay, this tissues, different tissues will perform different functions. The tissues will also come together to form different kinds of organ. All the tissues will combine and they'll make different set of organ. These organs will perform same function and they'll come together to form an organ system. So when I'm talking about the respiratory system, your lungs will form a part of the respiratory system. When I'm talking about the nervous system, your brain, spinal cord, nerves, they will form the part of your nervous system. When we are talking about digestive system, it can be your mouth, esophagus, stomach, liver, large intestine, small intestine. They'll form a part of your digestive system. So all organs that perform same kind of function will be a part of same system. All organ systems will together form an organism. So we saw that tissue is a group of cells that perform a specialized function. So how do we define a tissue? We define a tissue saying that it is a group of cells that are similar in structure or they work together to achieve a particular function or perform a specialized function. Now we are going to understand the tissue in plants and animals. Let us compare their structure and function. Do plants and animals they have the same structure? Do they perform similar functions? No, they are noticeably made up of different tissues. Okay, plants and animals both are made up of different tissues, but there are differences in the shape. Both of them are made up of tissues, but there are differences in the functions of body parts of plants and animals. See, we know plants are stationary, they are fixed, they don't move. Most of the tissues they have, they are a kind of supportive tissue which provides them with structural strength. That is, the growth in plant is restricted only to the tip of stem and roots. Okay, most of these tissues are dead, since dead cells can provide mechanical strength as easily as live ones and need less maintenance. In case of plants, they have dead tissues, they need less maintenance, they are needed for support. Plants, because they are stationary, so they don't move, so all the tissues, they require less maintenance. Whereas in case of animals, the growth is uniform all over the body. Animals, on the other hand, they move around in search of food, meat and shelter. We consume more energy as compared to plant. So most of the tissues which we contain, they are living tissues. Now, just as we said that plants are stationary or fixed, they don't move, and animals, they move around in search of their food, mates, and shelter. So, most of the tissues in plants are dead, and since dead cells can provide only mechanical strength as easily as live ones, and they need very less maintenance. Whereas in animals, most of the tissues are living. So that is why a tissue it is considered as a group of cells having a common origin, and they carry out a specific function. The study of tissue is therefore called as histology, which comes from histos, which is equals to tissue, plus logos, to discourse, that is to learn about tissues. Okay, and this term was coined by Bichat, Bichat, in the 18th century. He is therefore known as the father of animal histology. Okay. As we know, the structure of tissue in plants and animals is very different. So we are going to learn first about plant tissue. So let's understand what is plant tissues. Now we know that plants, they are made up of number of tissues which work together. Just now we studied that plants are stationary or fixed. They don't move. Okay. The structural organization is very different in case of plants as compared to animals. They are differently adapted for a sedentary existence, and whereas animals, they keep on moving. Okay, so there are a kind of different tissues which are found in plants. The first is the vascular tissue. Vascular tissue, it conducts, or it is also called as the conducting tissue. It conducts food and water from one part of the plant to another. The tissue for growth, they are located at the tip of root and stem. Stem is also referred as shoot. So plants have vascular tissue, that is conducting tissue, or there is a growth tissue, that is which is located at the tip of root and stem. So let us learn more about the tissues in plants. So in plants, depending upon the dividing capacity of the cell, the plant tissues can be classified as, first is the meristematic tissue, and second is the permanent tissue. Now when we are studying meristematic tissue, it is a special type of plant tissue which is present in the, it's a kind of special tissue which is present in the plants. These tissues, they are capable of dividing. It can divide the cells continuously. Therefore they are called as meristematic tissue. Cells which are capable of division. Whereas permanent tissue, they have mature cells, and these cells, they divide and then they take up a permanent shape which further doesn't divide. So mature cells which are incapable of cell division, they are called as permanent tissue. Now permanent tissue is further classified as simple permanent, that is made up of only one type of cell, and complex permanent tissue which is made up of more than one type of cell. Under simple permanent tissue, we have 6 types. Okay, first is parenchyma, second chlorenchyma, third arenchyma, fourth collenchyma, sclerenchyma, and surface tissue, that is the epidermis. So how to remember? Parenchyma, chlorenchyma, arenchyma, collenchyma, sclerenchyma, surface tissue. Parenchyma, chlorenchyma, arenchyma, collenchyma, sclerenchyma, surface tissue. We are going to study about each tissue in detail. First, just remember the names. Next is complex tissue. Complex tissues, they are of two types, that is the conducting tissues, the xylem and phloem. Now let us study each of these tissues one by one. Now first we are going to learn that what is meristematic tissue. I told you all meristematic tissue is the only plant tissue which produces new cells by cell division. So it has cells which are capable of dividing. So further, the meristematic tissue, the cell walls in this kind of tissue, they are very thin and they have conspicuous nucleus which divides rapidly. Conspicuous nucleus means the nucleus which can be easily seen, okay, the visible one. So this is how the structure of the cells in the meristematic tissue looks like. Depending on the region where they are situated, this meristematic tissues, they are classified as, based on their origin, position and function, they are classified as, the first one is the apical meristem, okay, the second one is the lateral meristem, and the third is the intercalary meristem. Okay, first we are going to see what is apical meristem. Now see, the growth of plant, it generally occurs in certain specific regions. Okay, this is because they have the dividing cells or the dividing tissue, that is the meristematic tissue, which is located only at these points. Okay, depending on the region where they are present, this meristematic tissues, they are classified as apical, lateral and intercalary. New cells, they are produced by meristem, are initially like those of meristem itself, but as they grow and mature, their characteristic slowly changes. They become differentiated as components of other tissue. That means initially they are meristematic tissue, slowly they divide and the characteristics of this tissue will change, and then they become the component or the part of other tissue. So first we'll see apical meristem. Okay, so apical meristem, apical means apex, it is present at the terminal, or you can say it is present at the growing tip of stem and root, and it helps to increase the length of the stem and root. Generally it is located below the root cap in roots. Okay, so it is present at the growing tip of stem and roots, and it helps in increasing the length of the stem and root. It enables the root or stem to grow in length. So these are the two functions of apical meristem. See, this is how the plant grows. Next is lateral meristem. Now lateral meristem, as the name suggests, it is present laterally, okay, that is at the sides. Now generally this lateral meristem, they are parallel to the sides of root and stem. It is also called as cambium. Lateral meristem, they add thickness to the plants. So the girth of the stem or root increases due to this lateral meristem or cambium. Okay, it helps in increasing the girth, the thickness. Okay, that is called as the girth and width increases due to lateral meristem. Next is the intercalary meristem. Intercalary meristem is present at the base of the leaves or internodes, that is on either side of the nodes you have the middle section which is called as the internode on twigs. So during the growth they separate from an apex and they are found at the base of leaves or above or below the nodal region of the twigs. The region, nodal region means the region from where the branch starts. Okay, so there you can find this meristem, that is the intercalary meristem. The cells of this tissue, they have very thick, very dense cytoplasm. The walls are very thin, which are made up of cellulose, and even the nuclei is visible, that is they have a prominent nuclei. This is how the intercalary meristem cells look like. The cells, they are very, very active. They keep on dividing and they keep on working all the time. So they are called as active cells. We have the permanent tissue. The cells which are formed by the division of meristematic tissue, they are going to take up a specific role and they'll lose their ability to divide. That is what happens to the cells formed by meristematic tissue. After working or after the meristematic tissue, the cells will take up a definite role and they'll lose their ability to divide. This is why we call them as permanent tissue. As a result, they form a permanent tissue. This process of taking up a permanent shape, size and function is what is called as differentiation. The permanent tissue, they are further classified as simple permanent, which are made up of one type of cell, or complex permanent, which are made up of more than one type of cell. Simple tissues are of 6 types: parenchyma, chlorenchyma, arenchyma, collenchyma, sclerenchyma and surface tissue. Whereas complex permanent tissue is again of 2 types, the xylem and phloem. Let us learn each of these one by one.